How's it going, everybody? My name is Kuzo Games. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little different. I decided I wanted to hop on a bandwagon and do a Pokemon Unite tier list, but this isn't really a tier list based off of who's the best Pokemon or who's the worst Pokemon in the game. It's a tier list of who I think is the most annoying Pokemon in the game. Up here at the top, worst of the worst, the single worst Pokemon amongst, all 50 of them. The hated tier list, the hate you tier, like you just see them and you just know, like, oh, I'm about to have a bad time. I'm about to just, like, dislike this game for a while. Of course, then there's mixed feelings of like, okay, this Pokemon has its days where it's alright, but most of the time, not so much. Mixed feelings, that's about where I'm feeling there. You're alright, I guess, is like those Pokemon that, yeah, they're a little annoying, but other than that, they're alright. You're not really expecting to get beat up on by them. And then at the bottom here, we got not even a problem. Like not even really annoying. You just see them, you just beat them up, whatever. They're there. Who cares? Or honest to goodness Pokemon that don't really drive you up a wall any. But if you're down for that, remember, like, comment, subscribe even. It don't cost you nothing to show the channel some love. Thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Alright, starting off this tier list, we have Venusaur. I don't really have a problem with Venusaur. I will say this. I used to play Venusaur a little bit more often until I feel like he kind of got, like... Maybe he wasn't nerfed, but he was like... Everybody else got buffed to the point where Venusaur couldn't really keep up anymore. But I do feel like whenever I see an enemy Venusaur, it's... like they're deceptively strong, which is weird because, like I said, I used to play Venusaur a lot. So I say I'm putting them in alright, because while Venusaur isn't the most like terrifying Pokemon to see, you do get those 1 or 2 Giga Drain Petal Blizzard Venusaurs that'll just run through a team. So you're alright is probably a good spot for Venusaur on this list. Next up, we've got none other than Gengar. I also play Gengar, so again, it's coming from a little bit of bias, but Gengar is a little more annoying than Venusaur, right? I know the strats, like, if you just dodge that initial attack, be it Sludge Bomb or Dream Eater, you're fine, right? But a Gengar can essentially just run through a chain of people just hitting that combo. And if they get going, then they just never stop, and there's nothing you can really do about it, right? So I'm going to put Gengar a little bit higher up in mixed feelings. Mr. Mime is a menace. Hate Mr. Mime. Ever since Mr. Mime started getting buffed, I've hated this guy. I tell you, the barriers and the collab he can do between barriers, the way he can like pin people down between barriers, and not to mention his Unite move stopping you from doing anything for like 15 years straight. Hate this guy. Hate him so much. Disruption is easily the most like infuriating thing in this game. Just sitting there and you're like, oh, I guess I'm being cutscened. I just can't do anything anymore. I'm sorry if you're a Mr. Mime fan, or if Mr. Mime is your main, but you should know this. You should know how annoying you are, alright? That's just how it is. I'm sorry. Following them, we have Snorlax. I don't really feel all that annoyed when I see a Snorlax, right? Snorlax is bulky, sure, and Snorlax, has his Unite move where he heals a lot or whatever. But it's not really that disruptive, right? Like, it's got the block move where it, pushes people around, so it can help its team, like, push lanes and stuff. But that's kind of just, like, that's it for Snorlax. Like, I don't even really see a lot of Snorlaxes anymore, like, in the game, period. Like, there are more annoying defenders, and we'll get to them in a second, but... other than that, Snorlax is Snorlax. Following Snorlax, we have none other than Gardevoir. I think Gardevoir belongs right here besides Gengar. And I say that because Gardevoir, I feel you see a lot more often than a Pokemon like Venusaur. And for the longest time, Gardevoir has been able to follow you in attack or run away in attack at the same time. And you really have to close the distance between you and Gardevoir if you're going to get rid of that problem. But Gardevoir being able to attack you from far away, like high and dry, run away and still be attacking you, has always been annoying to me. Not to mention the Unite move. I am always worried about being within like arm's reach of another person whenever I'm chasing a Gardevoir, because I just know if they have that Unite move, they're going to pop it, push us both together in that black hole, kill us both, and then get away with it. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm putting Gardevoir in the mixed feelings. They don't anger me quite as much as a Mr. Mime, but they're up there. Absol. Absol has the potential to do a lot of burst damage, like most speedsters, you know, Gengar, etc. But I haven't ran into too many like annoying Absols, you know? Like I don't know. Absol just doesn't I get, like I said, I haven't run into any Absols that I haven't like been able to handle. And again, that's just me. It's like I see a speedster and I know, okay, I need to like wait for their initial attack and then get out of the way, right? Because that's the whole thing. If you get caught by a speedster, that's it for you. You're done, right? It's over now. So I'm thinking either here or not even a problem, because I don't think I've ever really had a bad encounter with an Absol where I've been, you know, like angry afterwards, right? Not even a problem, honestly. Like I've never really felt annoyed or like angry fighting an enemy Absol, I don't think. Nothing really comes to mind, so that's our first not even a problem. Garchomp is somewhere in between these two. Like I feel like Garchomp used to be a lot worse. Garchomp hits pretty hard, but Garchomp doesn't really annoy me with its, you know, strength, right? Like it's not really a menace per se, like Pokemon like these three. Garchomp, don't get me wrong, Garchomp is strong, and Garchomp is it can be bulky, but I don't feel Garchomp is really annoying per se. It's not really a menace, if that makes any sense. I feel the same way with Lucario. Not gonna lie, Lucario a very honest Pokemon in my book, right? Like I've never felt like angry looking at a Lucario or being up against a Lucario. Like yeah, they heal sometimes and that's annoying, but there are Pokemon better at healing than, you know, Lucario, right? Crustle. Let's just go ahead and get you up here, buddy. And this is probably more so feelings from back in the day when Crustle was at its prime, being able to, you know, sprint across the field with its Shell Smash, armor through stuff, just score for free, run away. It's setting up like its little rock barricades to stop people from running away and then hitting them with its like big old pincers. Dislike this Pokemon. But I don't hate it as much as Mr. Mime, because Crustle isn't the same as it used to be, right? It's more annoying than Snorlax, but not annoying as some more of these other Pokemon on this list, right? Greninja. Oh, man, I was about to say you're alright, but look, Double Team and Water Shuriken or whatever is fine. It's the smoke screen that I hate, because anytime I like run up on this guy, the smoke screen drops and now he's, you know, somewhere else. And his Unite move has definitely sniped a couple of objectives from me that have really just that really just like made me want to strangle him, you know? So I think I'll put Greninja in mixed feelings. These next two, the fire flying types. Talonflame is very quick. I can't say its Unite move has ever really like bothered me as annoying as it can be. And as far as speedsters go, Talonflame isn't all that annoying either, but sometimes seeing that little like outline of where he's about to dive down can be kind of like, here we go, right? But it's all right, you know. It's not gonna make me split my head, right? Charizard. The only annoying part about Charizard is its Unite move. Because I feel like every time I see it, like, chasing me, I know it's getting in range to use its stupid Seismic Toss or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go. Charizard, I feel, has and still has a very good Unite move, but it doesn't, like, it doesn't hurt me the same way like Gardevoir does, for instance, right? Or get away from me as easily as, like, a Greninja does, right? Charizard's a little more honest, I feel, so I'm just gonna leave him there. Again, none of these are any real particular order. Maybe I go back through and swap them around later. Zeraora. Yeah, Zeraora's. Do I hate Zeraora? No, I don't hate Zeraora the way I hate Mr. Mime, right? Like Zeraora, in its its particular moves, right? That stupid bouncing around attack. I can't think of the name like off the top of my head. But it bouncing around and it being able to just like attach itself to you while you're running in or running out and just like whittle away at your health bar while you can't really attack it back is the most annoying thing ever. I hate that with a passion. And its Unite move tracking the way it does, also very annoying. I got mixed feelings about Zero-R, but again, not too many of them have really caused me, you know, like any real headache, you know. So that's where I'm putting Zero-R on this list. Cinderace. I don't know. Cinderace is pretty alright. Cinderace is pretty fair. It has pretty big range, which is it kind of has the same kind of problem as Gardevoir. This thing can attack you from forever away while chasing you. Its Unite move is also similar to, say, who was I looking at? Like Greninja's, where it can, you know, attack you from like way far off and still like snipe an objective from you if you're not paying attention. But I think the most annoying thing about this one is chasing it, knowing you're about to get the attack you need to kill it, and then it just like does that like dribble dodge away out of your rage again. So chasing around Cinderace can be very annoying, but other than that, it's not really, you know, that much of a problem, right? Eldegoss. Eldegoss has grown increasingly more frustrating recently, especially with these like new buffs and like the recovery items and stuff added to the game. Eldegoss is healing, and Eldegoss can now also kind of do damage, and that Eldegoss, you know, wait, Eldegoss isn't that annoying, right? I might be freaking out a little bit. Eldegoss isn't that annoying, so I'll let you be alright. You're alright. You're alright in my book, okay? Next up, Cramorant. Cramorant is kind of annoying early game when everybody's still trying to evolve and stuff. It can lock people down, but I can't say I've ever really had been thrown off a whole lot by a Cramorant. So, like, honestly, not even a problem. I would almost put Blastoise right behind him because I don't run into a lot of Blastoises that really give me trouble. But Blastoise, when working with a team of other people, like Blastoise when working with others, like supporting them with either, you know, Hydro Pump or Surf, that can be annoying. Like when they're like trying to push Regieleki and having this thing as a front runner just Surf push everybody out of the base. You're pretty annoying. Only then though. Aside from that, Blastoise, it's okay. Pikachu, honestly, same boat. Early game, fighting a Pikachu is always kind of rough because it still has, you know, like electro weapon stuff, stunning you, pinning you down so its teammate can wail on you. It's rough, but in the later game, Pikachu is never really a problem for me. So you're all right. I've probably been killed by, you know, your Unite move more than any of these jokers anyway, right? Clefable. Yeah, you deserve your spot up here. Clefable constantly healing everybody around it and then being able to slow down enemies is always... I feel like Clefable has been in the game for a while now, and I still feel like I don't know what Clefable is capable of. So whenever I see a Clefable on the enemy team, I get that little bit of anxiety that comes in, and I'm like, alright, what are you about to do? Right? What's up? What are we doing here? So I'll put Clefable there. Ninetales, Alolan Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales, I feel, does damage. It does, like... I don't know if I'll say it does Gardevoir damage, but Alolan Ninetales does damage. It isn't that fast, so it's not really getting away from me the same way like Zero-R or Greninja does. Its Unite move can be pretty disruptive. And I know it's got that ability where if you like follow it, it'll drop that that spot on you, but it's not really that hard to avoid, you know. So I'll just leave them in alright, you know. Like I'm not stressing when I see a Ninetales, you know. Wigglytuff. The singing Wigglytuff. I kind of want to put Wigglytuff right up here with Clefable, but I don't know. Singing Wigglytuff is kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Decisions. Right, like, I don't know if I feel it's as annoying as Clefable, right? I'll put you down here. I feel like this tier is getting a little big. Slowbro. Slowbro can be very... I got mixed feelings about Slowbro. I'll say it. Mixed feelings about Slowbro. Hold on, Clefable's not a defender. I'm just looking at like the color coordination in here, and I'm pretty sure those two are supposed to be supporters, but well, whatever. We don't care about the color of the background that much. Slowbro, Telekinesis, Scald, Amnesia, all very annoying moves, right? Hate all of them, but I'm not stressing over a Slowbro, you know? Like, it can be rough, but you don't even really see enough Slowbros to have that anxiety built up, right? You see Slowbro and you're just like, okay, well, I know what to look out for. Slowbro's not about to ruin my day, right? Mixed feelings about Slowbro. Machamp, not even a problem. I'm not worried about Machop. I'm not worried about Machoke. Machamp, maybe a little bit when its Unite move comes out and it starts, you know, throwing those punches. But I feel like there's just bigger, like, threats on the field that I could be worried about than Machamp, right? Like, Machamp isn't that big of a problem for me. Chansey / Blissey. I say Chansey because most of the time they're running what, experience share, and they're running like a first few points in for free. Chansey, Blissey. I think the most annoying thing about it might just be seeing it use its Unite move to like super heal a teammate. So, nah. Blissey's not even a problem. Oh, the days I spent hating Mamoswine. Hate this thing. Hate it. Hate him a lot, actually. Maybe not as much as Mr. Mime, but Mamoswine, as disruptive as this thing is, it's annoying as a Swinub, it's annoying as a Piloswine, annoying as a Mamoswine. Freezes you, picks you up, drops you, slams you against the wall, runs away or just wails on you, freezes you again. And especially in the modes where they like cut the like cooldowns down, and this thing just had like an infinite loop where it just picked you up, slammed you down, picked you up, slammed you down. I got way too many bad memories of Mamoswine to put him anywhere lower than Hate You. Sylveon, also mixed feelings, right? I might hate Sylveon. No. Sylveon, I can handle a Sylveon, right? I can deal with a Sylveon. It's just once... The fact that, like, Eevee evolves into Sylveon before, you know, I'll evolve into my Wartortle or Ivysaur or whatever, is already rough enough on its own, right? Seeing this thing evolve before you do, and knowing that it's got either the Draining Kiss or maybe the Hyper Voice or whatever. Getting chased around by this thing's Hyper Voice gets old fast, right? Yeah, hate it. Hate to see that. You see it come out, and now you gotta start doing zigzags and stuff trying to dodge it. Annoying. Completely. Greedent. Greedent isn't as bad as it used to be, but like back in the day, Greedent was the worst. Hated this thing. Hated it with a passion, man. Not as much now though. Like, I'd say probably top of mixed feelings, but the way it would, you know, drop its berries, eat all its berries, belch, bullet seed, whittle everybody down until they were dead. Hated this thing. It's not as bad now though. So I'm alright with leaving it in mixed feelings. I feel more annoyed with Mamoswine like disrupting me all the time than I do Greedent like spitting seeds at me and stuff. The time when this thing used to just run into your goal, score, and then get away for free, not as easy for Greedent to do anymore, so I've kind of mellowed out there. Yeah, you know where you belong. Oh boy. Hate Decidueye. Hate it. Like, I can't tell you how many times this guy has been able to sit on the other side of the field and snipe me from 5 miles away. Or steal an objective because it's firing shots from off screen, so you didn't even really know he was over there. I get it, that's the point of the Pokemon. It's kind of frail after that. Doesn't do a whole lot, but like, as hard as he can hit, I feel like I have to keep like I got a whole lot of unnecessary movement I gotta manage while this thing is on the field firing shots at me. And its alternative is rapid fire razor leafing you. So if it doesn't kill you in one shot, alternatively, it's hitting you with 15 razor leaves while following you or running away from you, so there's no getting away from it. Not to mention how annoying its Unite move is in team fights. Like, I have to circle around and like catch this thing from behind to try to kill it while the rest of their team is, you know, pushing the goal or whatever. So yeah, Decidueye, I hate this guy. Hate him. Whatever, I don't care if everyone thinks he's cool. Next up, Dragonite. Dragonite's Unite move alone bumps him up and you're alright. Like, Dragon Dance and Outrage used to be a much bigger problem back in the day. I for one, typically use Hyper Beam. Not a lot of people use Hyper Beam. I've come to realize not a lot of people really play Dragonite like that. But Dragonite's pretty honest. Dragonite's pretty fair. Again, it's just, its Unite move I feel recharges a lot and, you know, quickly, so it can fly from one side of the field to try to steal your objective or drop down on you or just run away if need be. Also, that never works for me. The various times I have tried to use my Unite move and died mid-air somehow, I don't know. Serena. When this Pokemon launched, I know it messed me up for a while, but Serena's kind of mellowed out, right? Like, it's not as overpowered as it used to be, in the sense that it still evolves early, and if you're not keeping an eye on it, it'll pick up attack stats quickly. But I don't see this Pokemon often enough to hate it as much as I do like Zeraora or Greninja, right? So yeah, while it can be annoying, it's not. Well, I guess I can put you in mixed feelings. Do I even have to talk about it? Do I even have to talk about it? Especially this season, because they decided to buff Trevenant and now he's everywhere. It's like, suddenly there's just trees all over the place and they're all Trevenant. Run the stacking builds on them, run like Horn Leech or whatever. I hate them. I hate them a lot. I dislike it. Every time I see a Trevenant on the enemy team, I think, oh brother, here we go. Right? Like, yeah, alright, I guess we're doing this today. That's what I think every time I see a Trevenant. Like, man, Trevenant got buffed and now all the sweats and Tier Horse come out. Here he is. The worst Pokemon in the game, everybody. Ruined Unite. Hate him so much. Hate him. I can never see a Trevenant on an enemy team and think, oh, well, this will be fine, or just not acknowledge it. I see it and I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing this today. Yeah, alright. Guess this is happening. Aegislash. You're alright. Aegislash back in the day used to be more fearsome, but nobody plays them anymore, right? Nobody plays the Sword and Shield. The shield, I don't feel like heals you as much as it used to, and you used to be able to just tank Unite moves by popping a shield up really quickly. You might still be able to do it, I wouldn't know. Nobody plays them. Nobody plays them. But those one or two Aegislashes out there, they kind of kick butt, which is the only reason he's not even a problem. Speaking of not even a problem, Hoopa. Hoopa barely exists as it is. I may have run into one or two of Hoopas that have used like Trick or the portals, but Hoopa alone isn't really a threat per se, you know? Like, it being able to teleport people around, I don't even see people really use that power all that much, right? Like, it's not, you just don't see it. Nobody really uses Hoopa's powers like that, so it's not really a threat. Same I kind of feel like with Duraludon. Like, the higher up you get, the more you can see Duraludon's, but aside from its Unite move, that, you know, Ring of Fire, that's little Ring of Death, it's not, I don't feel like it's something you can't fight over, right? Like, Duraludon isn't fast enough to get away from you after you breach it, right? And I play a lot of, like, melee Pokemon, so I'm not playing the ranged battle, like Gardevoir v Duraludon, where Duraludon just out-tanks it. I'm getting up close in its face as soon as possible so I can just destroy it and then go beat up on whoever else. Duraludon has never really been a problem to me per se. Azumarill, on the other hand, I don't know if I've might be a little over exaggeration. I don't know if I've ever really killed an Azumarill. This thing like shows up, hits you with its like aqua tails or whatever, and you just never see the light of day again. Not to mention its Unite move will just take it from the brink of death back to like what feels like full health in a matter of seconds. Dislike Azumarill. Not as much as like Trevenant, but more than anybody else on this list right down here, right? Can't stand him. Espeon. Espeon, I feel, does a lot of what Sylveon does, right? Except Espeon is a little more, I don't want to say rapid fire, but Espeon's also pretty cheeky. I feel perfectly fine leaving the two of them right there with mixed feelings. Hate Delphox. Delphox is evolving as soon as it does. It has no business doing that. Has no business getting off the ground as fast as it does, because it sets all of those, like, the fire spin chases you forever, and then once it's got you, it spins you around, stops you from doing anything while she throws more annoying stuff at you. Its Unite move just being this area of effect pit that they can just drop on your base or their base or wherever as they run away so they can zone you some more. Never been a fan of this Pokemon. Never think I'm gonna be a fan of this Pokemon. Speaking of, Glaceon. Whoops. You're not that bad. Glaceon's ability or whatever, I'm not the most knowledgeable person about it, but I'm pretty sure it's just dodged damage before. Like, I'll attack it and it'll just be like, oh, you thought you hit me, but not really. And I'll just kind of shrug and like, oh, okay. And then it's got its rapid fire ice missiles that it can, you know, fire at you as you're running away, chasing it, etc. And I've seen it, you know, leap into the sky and use its Unite move 1,600 different times. I feel like whenever I fight this Pokemon, it always has its Unite move. In the sense of like, yeah, I just killed it at this base. I'm just seeing it again, not even half a minute later, and it's popping its Unite move again. For that reason alone, Glaceon is above these other two. Buzzwole. I don't hate Buzzwole, but I have mixed feelings. And I say I got mixed feelings because the one or two times I do see Buzzwole, I feel like I gotta sit up, right? Leech Life for sure. Smackdown Leech Life is the reason why I think I despise Buzzwole. I play Buzzwole, but I exclusively for most time use Lunge and Superpower. Because I, you know, just like handling crowd control. But I don't feel like I can ever beat a Buzzwole one-on-one if it's using Leech Life, right? And I get it, that's how the build works. But I see Buzzwole and my anxiety goes up like 15 stages. Again, these are in no particular order, so I'm not saying Gengar is more annoying than Gardevoir, Greedent's more annoying than anyone else on this list. But Buzzwole, mixed feelings. Mixed feelings on Buzzwole, right? Tyranitar. Back in the day, Tyranitar was the most annoying thing in the world. It got off the ground, it got its Unite move going and stuff, and it would just kill you. It would just kill your whole team by itself. It would just dive into a crowd and then execute everybody, and that was it. Tyranitar now, barely even see him. He got nerfed down to like A tier or whatever, and now you just don't see him anymore. Tyranitar is not nearly as annoying as it used to be. You just cut off Larvitar and then you never see him again. Just screw Larvitar out of all his experience and you never see him again. His best moves got nerfed into the ground and nobody wants to use his other moves. So he's not even really that much of a threat. Off of its Unite move and like execute, I'm keeping it in alright and not dropping him down to not even a problem, but Mew on the other hand, not even a problem. I don't see enough people use Mew like tactically for me to be like, okay, they got a Mew on their team, right? I gotta watch out for that. No, because everybody wants to just use like the bigger, like, if you want to play the ranged game, you might as well just use, you know, Decidueye or Delphox, right? Because they can keep you off of them forever. If you wanted to play a supporter, you're better off just playing, you know, Mr. Mime. Mew's a jack of all trades, doesn't excel at any one thing, so nobody really uses Mew like that. So it's whatever. Scyther's okay. I've never lost any hair over a Scyther, you know. I don't even think I see a whole lot of Scythers when I play the game anyway, right? It's mostly Scizors, and from what I've seen of my like friends playing Scizor, I might as well just play Scizor up here while I'm thinking about him. Scizor being able to heal off of his, you know, like punches, I could see where that would be annoying. I don't care. I just burn them like faster than they can heal, or just heal more than they can do, typically. So I'm never really worried about these two. Again, I got Scizor a little bit higher because I feel like I've just seen more Scizors. But yeah, Dodrio, hate him. Hate Dodrio. Don't ask me why, because you should know why. Dodrio is the worst. Hate this guy. Even at his prime, I hated Dodrio. Dodrio would almost exclusively just run into your goal, score your points, like score all of its points, like split between its 3 heads, stack up to the moon. And you would only ever see it just like dive bomb people, run away, come back, dive bomb you again. And I'd be like, bro, leave or fight me, get away. And when you chase it, you're never catching. Never on your life are you catching a Dodrio, and you're never doing it. You see it running off, the best thing you can do is warn the people like on the other side, like, hey, this guy might be coming your way. That's all you got. Like, Dodrio's an expert at like flying in or flying across the field, taking whatever you love from you, and then just making a mess of your whole day. That's Dodrio. That's how they built Dodrio. And speaking of annoying Pokemon, Sableye. Sableye is like the peak of degeneracy when it comes to this game. Because when the devs all got together and they sat down and they looked at Sableye, they're like, how can we make this game as little fun as humanly possible? And then they made Sableye. That's what Sableye is. The devs were like, how do we just make the most annoying Trollbon in the game? And they came up with Sableye. It can stun you. It can confuse you. It's the only Pokemon in the game that can force you to warp back to your base. If you know, and it's an invader. It's like the best invader in the game. It just turns invisible, sprints across the field, steals all of your farm, and then disappears and you never see him again. The fact that he can just casually go invisible after a given amount of time, like Gengar does, is also a plus, because half the time you just don't even know he's there. Not to mention his whole Phantom Balls thing. Not that that's ever really like been a huge problem for me. But like, this guy sneaking in little points just because you can't see him ever. Awful. Hate him. Hate this Pokemon. Why? He shouldn't even be considered a supporter. They should just make a whole other branch. Just call it Disablers, man. Sableye would just run that whole category. Zoroark can still do damage, and that's why I'm not putting him in not even a problem. But I can't... Look, at its peak, Zoroark was mad annoying. I won't even lie to you. Back in the days of like Night Slash, where it would, you know, cross over and then drop the big X on you, very annoying. Very rough, but they nerfed Zoroark so hard you never see him anymore. He's one of those Pokemon that just don't show up. The only reason I'm not putting him down here is because he still does damage. I mean, I know, I occasionally play Zoroark. He does his feint attack and he heals with Cut. So he can still be a problem when he wants to be a problem, but I just don't see him. I never see him. Rapid Style Urshifu. Hear me out. Rapid Style in here, Single Strike down here. I say this because with Single Style Strike, I never feel like the punch I get when I see him like coming in is like that bad, you know? Like for all of the wind up and how it's supposed to be like the Single Strike Executioner Pokemon, it doesn't hit me hard enough for me to be like, okay, now this Pokemon is broken, or like this Pokemon is annoying. Get him out of here, right? Don't feel that way. Never really felt that way about a Single Strike Urshifu. And they're pretty rare nowadays. I barely see it. Rapid Style, on the other hand, being able to stun you and piece you up while healing itself, very annoying. What do you do about it? What do you do about it when Urshifu comes through? Dives into you, Rapid Style, a normal punch, Rapid Style, normal punch, disables whatever skills you were trying to use. So now those are on cooldown, while it's beating you and stealing your health. Very annoying. Rapid Style, a whole other issue from Single Strike. Dragapult. Very mixed feelings about Dragapult. I've never been really like upset to see a Dragapult the same way I see, you know, some of these Pokemon up here at the top. So I'm fine just leaving him down here. But between him playing, you know, helicopter around the stage, or alternatively, you know, doing that thing where he disappears like somebody and somebody, Dragapult isn't really that bad to me, you know? Its Unite move doesn't even really, I feel, bother me that much either. I've got friends that love playing Dragapult, and from what I see, they can be pretty powerful, but I've never run into one that's really just, you know, like, rose my blood pressure, you know? Comfy is very... Yeah, no. I was gonna say mixed feelings about Comfy, but no. Hate Comfy. And I say that because Comfy is always attached to, like, the most ridiculous Pokemon in the room. So when you have, like, Comfy healing a Pokemon like Azumarill, who is already very bulky and does a lot of damage, or Trevenant, which is already very bulky and can now do a lot of damage because it's stacked 15 times, Comfy becomes a menace. It's like an accomplice, right? And if there's multiple of those Pokemon, it's like, alright, you beat the first boss, what do you do about the second one? Right? Like, for those reasons, I'm putting Comfy up here in the hate you tier. I see Comfy and my mind immediately goes to, alright, who are they about to attach to make my day nightmarish? That's what I'm thinking whenever I see Comfy. Goodra. I don't hate Goodra. I've played Goodra a lot, and I fought a lot of Goodras since, you know, it's like the new Pokemon. I don't hate Goodra. I don't. Muddy Water and, what, Power Whip or Acid Spray and Dragon Pulse, I want to say. I've never run into a Goodra that I don't think that we could, you know, like, fend off or fight back against. Goodra seems very, very fair. And maybe this is biased because I play a lot of Goodra. I know I've crushed a lot of people just running through their teams and stuff with Goodra, but it's going to be a very sad day when Goodra gets nerfed. But I don't feel Goodra's all that annoying, which is why I don't really have a problem playing it. As of today, Lapras hasn't actually come out. So I'm just going to by default put Lapras is not a problem because Lapras isn't in the game yet. But Lapras, not a threat to me. Finally, to top it off, here we go. Zacian in the hated tier. Why? Because I see the Sword Dog and I'm thinking, alright, well, time to see if I hate it here. It's stupid Ring of Death. Whenever I see it, my first thought is always, alright, I gotta get out of the circle. Or when I see it charging up its big stupid Sword Slash, I'm like, alright, I gotta run away. Get away from him. Because if I don't, he's gonna kill me and it doesn't matter what Pokemon I'm playing. It's not as incredibly frail as like a Gardevoir or anything either, and it's relatively fast, so it can get across the field pretty quick. But seeing this thing, I'm like, I see those moves come out, and I'm like, alright, get away from it. That's the first thing I see. Whenever I see a Zacian, I feel like my first instinct is to run away. And I hate feeling that way, especially when it's with his little, like, accomplice Comfy over here. You see a Comfy attached to a Zacian, and you're just like, well, that's it, that's the game. We had a good run. But looking at this list, I'm pretty okay with this list. I don't think there's anybody I like really need to revise. Again, none of these are any particular order. All right, looking at this list, if I had to nominate one Pokemon of these to be the worst of the worst, Sableye. Sableye, didn't have to think too hard about it. Why? Because Sableye was just built to be annoying. That's the reason. That's 150% the reason. Sableye was built to be the world's most annoying Pokemon. Again, it stuns you, it can turn you against your allies while it's still beating you up, drops like fake orbs on the field for you to try to pick up, and it can, you know, warp you and other people from your goal back to your base, and then score for free with anybody and everyone on its team. Not to mention invading you. Invading the mid lane is a thing, and like Sableye is by far the best at it. Comes in, steals your kills, it's invisible, and then it can just sneak away. It turns invisible and then it just gets away with it. What are you gonna do? Chase it back into its territory while you're under leveled? No, you're not. You can't. Why would you? It would just be the wrong play. So that's why I say it like this is my tier list. This is the list I'm going with, and this is just how I feel. So again, this has been Kuzo Games Pokemon Unite tier list. Thanks for watching. Kuzo Games signing off.